Colin?
Hey, Cuonzo, when you're going through a senior day like Saturday with 5 guys that you're going to honor who have contributed so much to this program, just what goes through your mind, and how do you process that kind of as a coach?
I mean, I think for me, just gratitude, just being grateful for the time they put into it. I don't take for granted that they're scholarship athletes. And just like I say to them, don't take for granted that you're a scholarship athlete. I mean, appreciate the opportunities. I appreciate all the things that they allow me to, push them, help them grow, teach them sometimes tough lessons, but stay the course, because it's not easy. It's uncomfortable sometimes when you're trying to grow. I would say those guys often, man, the accountability to be counted on every day to do your job on and off the court, in the classroom, to me is one of the highest forms of respect, just doing what you're supposed to do all the time, not taking that for granted, going to class, meeting your tutors, whatever your mentor assignments, your academic advisors, man. We always see the game part, because as fans and the general public, that's all you really see of the game, but you don't see the behind the scenes, the day-to-day, everything you put into it, the rehab, getting your body healthy enough to play in games. He talking about Drew Smith, who probably have to have surgery on his hand at the end of the season, but man, I'll stay the course and continue the job. It never stops, and to have that level of commitment. You're talking about a guy, in my opinion, is an MVP caliber guy. It just, so you appreciate those things. You can't take those things for granted as a coach, man, and you have to value all those things. Mitchell Smith, man, knee surgeries, man. I'm not sure I want to do this anymore. I'm exhausted. And not to say he said that, so you don't have to write that, but just it's a lot of stuff that goes into trying to be the best person you can be to maximize your talents. And so I'm always grateful for these times. They're always emotional because you build relationships, and hopefully they're lifetime relationships.
Mitch?
Cuonzo, LSU's got a lot of guys who can score. I guess just how do you go about trying to slow them down?
I don't necessarily think it's, we slowing them down regardless of what the scoreboard says. I think what you have to do, you have to limit comfortable catches and comfortable situations. You have to make them work for baskets. Because just like any score, they find a way. I find a way to put the ball in the basket. If I miss a shot, I get to the free throw line and get it in transition, offense, rebounds. They'll find ways. And they won a few teams, I think, in our opinion, probably the best scoring team. You're talking about guys that can really put the ball in the basket. So, again, you just want to limit catches, make them tough, get them out of their comfort zone, as opposed to a guy catching at 15 feet, make him catch at 18 feet where he has to take an extra dribble. Those little things matter. But if they catch it in comfort, getting the ball in transition, the ball moving and flowing the way they want it to do, it'll be 90 points.
Blair?
Cuonzo, as you were breaking down your senior class, I couldn't help but think that they're also having to do this in one of the most unusual years ever for college basketball. Does that, the fact that you've had this kind of success, how does that speak to the quality and character of the senior class?
Well, I think first and foremost, when you're talking about these guys, it starts with the parenting. You have to give credit where it's due. And then it's our job just to kind of the continuation. But the baton was passed to us to do our job as coaches. Again, that's not always an easy road because you develop relationships. And I don't know why people think it's easy when you get a young man at 18, 19 years old and you never really had a relationship with him outside of talking on the phone. You watch him play some games. Well, it's different. It's new. I didn't grow to love Coach Katie after the first 2 weeks. But now I can't live without him. It's what it is, man. That's what it's about, because he had to get me and take me to a place I'd never gone before in order for me to get what I need to get out of life. And he really didn't care whether or not I was happy with him. He wanted the results of a young man being successful. So that's the part that we try to focus on more as a staff, the 10, 20 years down the road, because if I'm coaching you day to day, then we don't really have a relationship. We just cut a deal.
Gabe?
Cuonzo, toward the end of football season, there started to be some coaches that kind of lobbied some of their seniors to come back. Are those discussions you have with guys at all before the end of the season?
Not at all, man. I'm hopeful these guys can either play in the NBA or become CEOs of their own companies or work for somebody. That's the goal. Now, if those guys sit there and say, Coach, I want to do that, then we would talk through it. Not that I would tell any of them no, but we would talk through why. And that would be my biggest question, why. The same question I would ask for my own sons if they were at that point, like, why? What's the benefit of doing that? You have to tell me. It ain't just I'm coming back. You have to tell me that because, again, it's 4+ years. It's time to live life. Now, if you come back, I want to know the reasons why. You're working toward getting your master, and then that's different. But just to come back to be a part of a college campus, nice campus, no, we're not doing that. No.
Dave,
Cuonzo, a couple of these guys have talked about they want to get into coaching. I think Bugs and Mark Smith for sure. What kind of advice do you give guys that want to kind of follow your career footsteps at least?
Well, I mean, I think the thing, if you want to do it, you can't be afraid to start at the bottom, and whatever the bottom is, and I want to be respectful of that space. And I don't mean bottom like low class. I just mean if it's high school, if it's Division II, Division III, everybody wants this spot. Everybody wants the top spot. You look at Matt Payne, and I say this because he was a teammate of mine, so I know this. He started, I think, at a Division III spot, and I think he might have worked and made $3,000 in a year. You know, I think it's part-time construction, something like that. He was coaching. It's like, now look at him now. So if you want to do this, then you have to be prepared to do it. But I think when I speak to a lot of young guys, I say, if you want to do it just for the money, I'm not sure how long you'll last in this profession. Then I said, I'm not sure I want a kid to be around you if you want to do it for that reason.
Eric,
Cuonzo, when you think about Drew Smith, I mean, just he had the game-winning shot on Wednesday, and he was just as cool, calm, and collected as we ever seen him. You know, he was just focused on the team. You know, is that someone qualities you want in a leader, and just how have you seen him grow since he came to Columbia?
Well, again, he had a lot of the parts before he got here. I mean, you're talking upbringing, high school coaching, grassroots coaching, then Marty Simmons coaching in Evansville. So he had a lot of that, man. It was just our job to continue what he already had, to pull whatever we need to pull out of him. And so he already had that, man. So I'm not taking credit for what he has. He's a guy that's getting his degree, very intelligent. He's a guy I think can play at the highest level. I do feel like he can play in the NBA, no question about it. Now, whether or not he get drafted, I'm not sure that even matters anymore. But you're talking about a guy, if I'm voting as an MVP, it's between he and Herb Jones. And so you take your pick. If you're a student of this and you really do this and you take pride in doing this, then that's one or two, take your pick. And same thing, defensive player of the year, take your pick, either one of those guys. I mean, when you really watch this and study this, those are your two guys. Now you go from there.
Mitch. Nothing. Okay, Chase.
Hey, Coach. Just with the seniors, and some of the seniors have been here as long as you have. Kind of, what does it mean to see someone like Jeremiah Tillman walk off the floor for the last time this weekend, potentially?
For me, pride, gratitude. I think that the other thing that not necessarily what this means, but there's a level of trust that had to take place. So that makes me feel good, and he would understand what I mean when I say that, because we had to grow into that. He had to understand that, you know, coach cares about me, you know. And so that makes me feel good. You know, again, you're talking about a young man that's grown into a man, and just to see how he moves off the court, the relationship he has with his son, I mean, that makes me feel good. Yeah, man. But again, for me, senior night is just okay, I'll see you tomorrow. I mean, it's still a relationship. It's not as if he's leaving this earth. I mean, we have a relationship.
Coffin.
Coach, you guys are about to get through the season in this crazy year. What does that mean about, what does that say about your team then and about the SEC and the college basketball that you guys were able to pull this off?
I mean, I just think I'm not sure, you know, how to answer that because you know, you do the proper things, you stay out of harm's way, you can't say you medicate yourself best way possible because, you know, COVID hit and you deal with how you deal with it. Some weren't as fortunate, you know, and then you have lives lost, man. So to me, to speak on the sport, and here we are, when you have probably over 500,000 people that have lost lives, it's hard. You know, we at this point, let's go ahead and finish it. And grateful to be able to play the game, but man, there's just so many emotions when you're dealing with that because I don't want to shortchange real world stuff just because we're playing a game.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mhm.